Is Bitcoin a good or false theory? So, is it need? Does it need new buyers to come in to for it to stay relevant? So, how is Ponzi scheme works, and what are Ponzi schemes, and what is the difference between Bitcoin and Ponzi schemes? So, a lot of people say it's like you will hear people like Peter Schiff saying Bitcoin is a Ponzi scheme. You need new buyers. It's a good or false theory. You need more people to come in to so the price can go higher. So people say so. He's saying basically you need that's why you need the government. You need new companies to buy it so the price can go high. So let's address that. First of all, a Ponzi scheme is just like he's saying, you need new buyers to come in. So basically, as long as you have new people coming in, the game can still goes on. But as at the moment people realize that it's Ponzi and nobody and the moment everybody lose faith, that's when everything collapses. So now we're gonna look at like a few things that are like this, and Bitcoin is not. Bitcoin is a open technology. So this is like if you look at like the US dollar, it's obviously a Ponzi scheme because like first of all look at the sign on it. It says it all. So, but not only that, you have the value of that dollar that's going down. So, 1971, the president back then, Nixon, Richard Nixon, was like the dollar was backed by gold. So, if you had a dollar, you can take that dollar certificate and bring it to the any institution, financial institution, they will give you gold equivalent to that amount. So you could redeem your gold with your dollar paper. So it was just a representation the to the gold that you can take for. But Richard Nixon, he removed the gold standard. So he moved away from that. So he say we're no longer gonna give you gold for your dollars. Since then, the value of the dollar has been going down ever since. But that's not the point. That's not the reason. That's just not just that the reason is because they start printing more and more and more of those dollars every year. So the more they print, so I mean the less valuable those dollars get because they needed to print a lot so that you get to the point where the value of those so they can fund wars and so many things. If you look on here, this is the US debt. This is higher. This is 36.2 trillion right now, I believe. But if you look closely in this chart, this is 19. You see all these times and 1783, 1800, 1900, 1933, up till 1970, about this period. So on this Vietnam War year, so you see there, that's when they started like really print money. Obviously, you had the world wars, right? The World War One, World War Two, World War Two, on there. They was printing a lot. But you see, before this, right? Before the introduction of central bank, 1913, right? Before this period, there were no war, right? So you had like you had like war, like colonial war and stuff like that, but you didn't have like global war, like war. So the notion of world war and war everywhere started with central banking and then money printing when they started printing a lot of those fiat dollars because it's so easy to print, so you can have those war, you can afford to have those wars. So over here we had the World War One, World War Two, but when we move away from the gold standard, right? in 1971. We had the Vietnam War as well. You had to fund that war, so you had to point a lot to that for that. And then we had the Reagan era, war on terror. Okay, this is see even then, like the chart wasn't going up still high, right? And then from there it just exploded, right? You had all so many wars. They just invent any type of war and then they just go on it, right? Go at it. It's like financial crisis, right? 2008. You have Great Depression. Um, you know, the so many war, trade wars. You had pandemic wars and all those things going on. So and this is a global debt. This is like so how much money like government like lend or borrow, how much they borrow to have those all those massive debt. Um, so now let's go back to the value of the dollar. So when you're holding these papers, those are just it's certificate of nothing. You can't claim anything on them. So you can just go there just based on the value of today. You can just go get a bicycle or a motorcycle or a car, but tomorrow the value can go in half, and then you have to get more of those papers to get the value, because the value of the motorcycle doesn't go in half. It doesn't go down half. In fact, the motorcycle will go higher. The car will be more expensive in the future based on those cash, because those dollars are worthless. They can make them so much of them. Now, let's compare this to Bitcoin. Like, what's the difference? Like, Bitcoin is the price is what it is. Let's put that in USD. So the price is what it is. If you look historically, so over 5 years, Bitcoin is up 10x. Okay, so the value of the Bitcoin is up 10 times in the 5 years. So the dollar is down drastically, almost 99.9% since 1913. And if you take the dollar against Bitcoin, like for 5 years, you see the dollar is down 90%. Okay, so you lose all your money versus Bitcoin, right? 90% of it is gone in the dollar. So if you look back, if you look like all time, Bitcoin is up like 145 million percent, 145 million percent since inception. Now let's say if you remove, right, maybe if you remove the first like the first 3 years, if you started from 2014, you remove 1 million percent, you still end up with like 140, like 144% for this of 144 million. So it's just amazing to see like how like amazing Bitcoin is up since then. Now, like now the people say, well, you need greater fools, you need more people to buy in so the price can go higher. The reality is not. This is not how this thing works. So let's say if you were in the bottom year in 2018, so you say, well, let's say we had more people, more buyers coming in. We convinced a lot of people to buy in, Michael Saylor and all those people get in, and then now they buy and the price goes up. Well, okay, fine. So what happened then? Well, when they get in, the price goes up. People call it a bubble. They say it's a Ponzi scheme. It's going away. Well, the price dropped. There's a lot of people who had a lot of paper Bitcoin, right? It was creating Bitcoin they don't have, right? Those exchanges, and there was attack on the network. They banned Bitcoin mining and all that. And then Bitcoin price dropped, right? So when it drops, it's all the people, right, who got scared, who didn't understand Bitcoin, and all those traders they sold. So that caused the price to drop dramatically. And all the previous people who held it till there still hold, most of them have their Bitcoin. Yeah. So the only people who sold, those are the new people who have no idea what Bitcoin was. Okay, so now from there in 2022, Bitcoin price is up almost 5 times. Okay, so this is crazy. That this is up almost 5 times. What happened? Right. So is it because the same people got fooled there and then they buying again to be fooled again? I don't think so. Right? It's just the value of the thing is so like you can't refuse it. You can't say no to it. It's so important for you to protect your money. So when you buy Bitcoin, it's for you to protect yourself. It's not for you to. It's not for all the Bitcoin holders you're buying Bitcoin for. You're buying the Bitcoin for yourself. You're not buying for people. Okay. So now let's look at why fundamentally Bitcoin is valuable. So well, Bitcoin has a issuance schedule. There's a certain amount of Bitcoin that's set to be issued over time. So since 2009, the first block, every time for 4 years, there was 50 Bitcoin coming out every 10 minutes. And that after that 4 years, there is something called halving. The amount of those Bitcoin that's going to the miners get cut in half. And those miners, they have to do a lot of work, hard work, they have to expend a lot of energy because the Bitcoin, you cannot get the Bitcoin for free. You have to do a lot of hard work, a lot of computation and power, and those power consume a lot of energy. So now it went down to 25 Bitcoin every 10 minutes going to the miners. Okay, so now after that 4 years again, went to 12.25 Bitcoin, 12.5, sorry. After this 4 years again, in 2020 we went to 6.25, and just recently in 2024 we went down to 3.125. This is scheduled. This is set in code. This is immutable code set rules every 4 years. It's scheduled to happen, and it never ever miss that schedule. So this is why Bitcoin is valuable, and this will happen till the year of 2140. Okay, about 100 years from now, it will still happen. So this is why, and when all those Bitcoin are mined, and there's no more Bitcoin to be mined, all the Bitcoin that are available in circulation will be used to support the network. Transaction fees will be used to support the network. Okay, so now we get the technical reason why Bitcoin is valuable, why it's not a Ponzi scheme. So let's move forward. See what's there. Okay, so this is the Bitcoin halving clock. So we all know, like in how many blocks, after how many times Bitcoin halving will happen, and we celebrate. In contrast to like the central banks and the government's money printers, they celebrate when they print more to fund wars, all kind of pet projects. Okay, so this is the opposite. We celebrate because Bitcoin, the value of our Bitcoin, is get scarcer, and the value go higher because there's less available for sale. Right now, if you look for how many Bitcoin on exchanges, if you look here, let me restart this. So I'm going to show you how many Bitcoin are available on exchanges. Today, there were 3,000 Bitcoin was taken off exchanges. So those are people who buy the Bitcoin to protect their money. So now right now, we have only 2.16 million Bitcoin available for sale. Back in the beginning of 2024, in February 2024, there were about 2.7. So so it's about half a million Bitcoin. Okay, half a million Bitcoin took off the exchanges. Like so many people, all those people bought those Bitcoin to save. Okay, those are the people who need protection for their money. Okay, this Peter Schiff is not one of those. Okay, Peter Schiff is better off. He's well off. He has his mansion. He has his all his beautiful, investment. All his like nice properties and all. He's pretty well off. He's good, right? He doesn't need Bitcoin. Okay, so when he's saying all these things, you just understand this. Okay, so now again, so let's move on to the next. Let's see what's okay. This is the schedule again. Bitcoin inflation. Okay, this is a Bitcoin supply inflation. It keeps going down and down and down. This is still the year 2040. Sorry, this is 2040. Okay, this is 2040. This is the year where of the last Bitcoin. So fiat inflation, it goes up every year. Sometimes 10, sometimes 9, sometimes 20%, and they will always tell you it's 2%. They will always tell you it's 3% because they're having a monopoly on those numbers, and they can dictate what it is. So, but when you go to the grocery store, you have to look for yourself. You have to know 4 years ago how much did you pay for milk? How much did you pay for eggs? Right? So you do this math yourself. You see how much inflation is up because inflation compounds. They never tell you that. So this is U.S. money supply, the stock. So you have the difference. You see the difference? The U.S. money. You see it's exploding, right? So contrast to Bitcoin, it's going down. Okay, it's going down. So this is why it's not a Ponzi, and it's more likely the US dollar that is a Ponzi. I hope you like this video. I'll see you again in the next. This was PieCover.